Hello, welcome to Memory Guns, and today we're going to be talking about one of Beretta's premium line of guns, the SL3 game gun. This will be a bit of a brief introduction on where the SL3 sits in Beretta's premium line of shotguns. So you've got the SO series, which everyone's very familiar about, which is the side lock version, a side lock gun. This is sort of the top end of Beretta's line. So under that, at the time, there wasn't really anything to fill the gap. You had the DT11 EEL, which is more of a comp, it's quite a heavy gun, not really a game gun. And you had obviously 687 EEL. Well, there wasn't anything sort of in that gap. So this is where the SL3 came in. So the SL3 is a bit of an amalgamation of both guns. It's a partly hand-finished, partly hand-made gun and partly machine-made gun. So like the SO, where for the most part it is all handmade, the SL3 was designed more as a tool. And when I say a tool, I mean a workhorse of the line. So the SOs are nice, beautiful guns, but they are a very fragile gun, and they were an awful lot of money. So if you didn't want to get it ruined or something of that nature, I always thought SOs were a bit more of a, they're nice to look at, they're probably really nice to shoot, but they're very, like I say, fragile. They're very prone to weather, so they do rust. But something like this, where it's made of the same sort of steel, because this is all laser engraved, not hand engraved. They do a hand engraved version, which is the EEL, but the standard laser engraved version, the steel they use is a lot harder. Hand engraving, they have to use a softer steel and not temper it as hard because, well, they've got to engrave it by hand. So it makes it a lot better for sort of, let's say, weather conditions, if you're going to be in a field game shooting. This gun is primarily, well, it isn't primarily, it is only in box lock form. They don't do a side lock SL3, and the reason, a couple of reasons. Side locks, again, can be a little bit temperamental. Box locks tend to be more reliable, a lot more simpler, and cheaper is the bottom line of it. So this is why this is a box lock action, not a side lock, but it is side plated like the 687 EEL, same concept. The locking for this gun is, I am led to believe, it's pretty much the same system like the SO10 lockup. So when you think of the SOs, you think, oh, you know, the big curse and bolt that you see at the side like on a DT11. But the SO10 is actually different again. And this is what it sort of mimics, but let's say a machine-made version. Personally, I really like the SL3. I think, again, fills a good gap in the market, but it's also an incredibly pretty gun. They do them in an incredible range of spec of options, do them in different calibers. So obviously you got your 12, no surprise there, 20 bore, 28 bore, and they do a 410 to special order. I've never seen a 410, to be honest, I've never seen a 28 bore either. Because, you know, spend, let's say, £20,000 is still a lot of money, and to spend it on, let's say, a 410, you've got to have a lot of money to justify it. So I've never seen one as of yet. I'm sure, you know, that might change in time. But in terms of the engravings they do, I will just run through which are the options, because the reality of it is you can order pretty much what you want, but in this form, they have the sort of the deep relief scroll. This is the most common form of engraving on the SLs. Very rarely you'll see like the English scroll version. I've actually never seen one in the flesh. We've never ordered one. So you've got the deep scroll, which is what this one is. They do the English scroll, which is a lot finer. I don't like it personally. Some people do. It isn't for me. And they do a game scene. The game scene is really nice as well. We have had game scenes in the past. Not the most popular option, the deep scroll is. They do one called a mirror finish, which is, as the name suggests, it looks like a mirror. Again, another special order gun. The mirror finish is more money than the standard laser engraved one, because there's a lot more handwork involved into polishing it up to a look like a mirror. Very prone to fingerprints. There are videos and pictures of them out there, so if you are interested, have a look. We've never had one. I like them, but I don't at the same time. It's not for me, but I see why people would buy one. It is an incredibly it is a radical. I wouldn't say radical. It's just plain, but it is nice. Then they do a deep relief, but they do it in a case colour hardened version, which again we've never had, but I do like the look of that one. It is a nice. I love case colour hardening. You don't really see it very often, or not done very well anymore. So a lot of the case crafting now is a chemical process, opposed to the old style heating it up with like a bone meal. And they do a double ELL version, which I have previously mentioned, but it is a hand engraved version of the SL3. So within reason, you can have what you want on it. We have sold one of these before for a custom special order. Incredibly nice gun. I would personally prefer the SL3 in the ELL form than probably an SO series gun, because you're getting the reliability of the SL platform with the sort of more traditional hand engraving. Again, a bit more prone to rusting, but again, as long as you look after your gun, they're not bad. But a lot of the people we see, obviously, game shooting, shoot, yeah, it gets wet, chuck it in a slip, leave it for a couple of days, put it in the cabinet, it's brown. It is what it is. You know, you do have to look after your gun. If it's a 500, you know, a 200 quid Bakel or a 30 grand SO. So this is where, you know, it is still, you are spending a lot of money, but it's still the responsibility of the owner to look after the gun, like a car. It's no different. So we'll just talk about these three guns in particular that we have here today. So we've got two 12 gauge versions and the 20 bore version. These all come with category 4 wood, can be upgraded to 5 if you want, but again, you know, increases the cost. They all come with a concealed butt pad on these, on the back. Again, being this sort of a custom gun, you can opt in for what you want. If you wanted a rubber pad, you can have a rubber pad. But yeah, standard concealed butt plate, cat 4 wood. Engraving, as I've just sort of explained, pick what you want. But in this case, we prefer the deep scroll for stock items. And I think you can agree it is an incredibly pretty engraving pattern. So this is what we tend to stock on all of our stock guns. So you can pick what you want on those. Forends. So the forends on these, again, custom, you can have what design you want, but we tend to go with this sort of London style forend, being a game gun. Rib options, you can get different ribs, so you can get, again, custom. So the top one here is a 6x6 game rib, and this one, which is a sort of a newer style, which is the 9x7 sporting rib. So I personally prefer wider ribs on guns. Not everyone does, but I do. So we have ordered this with the wider rib for stock. When we tend to do a lot of custom orders now, people are opting for more of the wider rib, because people do want to shoot game, but and it's a game gun, but people do also want to shoot some clays. So this is why some people spec the game rib, so the sport rib. Same with the 20 bore, that's got the 6x6 game rib. The 20 bore does feel incredibly nice. It is based on the 20 bore action, so it's not like a 12 gauge action, it is a dedicated 20 bore action, which you would expect at this price point. So that's a nice feature. In terms of the barrels, it's multi-choke. You can get them in fixed choke as well. We don't tend to stock fixed choke ones anymore, purely down to the fact of steel shot, because you've got to have them bored out, or you know, you've got to fixed choke. I like fixed choke guns, but a lot of people are swaying away now, obviously, to multi-choke. It's more practical and doesn't increase the cost. They do this in obviously the game spec, but they also do this in a proper sporting variant, which I didn't actually know about until quite recently. Again, it's a special order, and we are thinking about ordering a couple. So it'll have ventilated barrels, the 9x7 sporting rib. Stock dimensions will be slightly different as well. Probably will have a palm swell. But to be honest, at this price point, we offer something called the Beretta VIP trip. So this is a trip where, you know, we go to Italy, the factory, have a tour around the factory. We have done videos on it. So have a look at our previous video about the factory tour and the process of having a custom made gun. But if you're going to have a sporter or a game, having a custom stock, in my opinion, makes sense. For the extra money, you're already chucking a lot of money at this. For the extra, let's say, £2,000 or £3,000, having a stock that fits you better, and you can have it, you know, you go and you can pick your own wood, which is a nice feature. So certainly when you're making it a bit more personal rather than just, you know, grabbing a gun off the shelf. Some people prefer that. Some people just rather, look, you know, on a gun, tool, use it, shoot in the field, fine, not a problem. This is why we stock them. But for someone who wants it a little bit more personal, or, you know, let's say the customer in questions, let's say their dimensions are slightly different. So I have a shorter, you know, very tall. I'm quite average in terms of my height and build, but if you know you're 6'5", something like this isn't really probably going to be ideal. You probably want it to be adjusted. So this is where if someone comes in of that stature, let's say, we will sort of edge them down the trip route, because it will help them in the long run, because you're still chucking a lot of money at this. So chucking a little bit more but getting it a lot more personal and customised to you makes sense in my opinion. Not to everyone, but in my opinion it does. In terms of barrel lengths, they do it, the smallest barrel lengths they'll do is a 28. They go up to 28, 30 and 32. They are your main barrel lengths. They don't do them in any other spec. Not like the practice ways where you get like 34-inch barrels, which in my opinion is a bit of a gimmick. The 32 is the max on these, and 26-inch is in reality in the UK market dead. I'm not saying in certain markets, let's say like Cyprus, places like that where the hunting's done differently, it's a lot more walked up, shorter barrels make more sense. So in them markets, shorter barrels might be an option, but in the UK market, 28-inch is the minimum. So with your SL3, when you buy it from the factory, again, and this is also another thing where I say about the VIP trip, this is the standard box that comes with the gun. You can also opt to have what you want. You can have a custom box. You can design it when you're over there, what materials you want, what shape you want, what leather, if you want it. We've done a carbon fibre. They did a carbon fibre one in the past with the SL2 launch edition. They'll make what you want. But this is what I'm going to run you through is the standard box that comes with this gun. So we'll get some close-ups of it, but I think you can agree it is a stunning looking box. So this is the box. Blue felt on the top and all wrapped around. Leather corner protectors, genuine leather. You would expect that at this price point. Leather handle with brass finishes. And here you've got these like travel motor case sort of strap protectors. So we'll undo them. The box. On the inside, obviously red felt lined, which is really pretty, quite traditional looking, really like it. Modular compartments, so the compartments in this can be moved. So if you want to, if your gun's shorter, longer, you can get different blocks, build the box up to your gun. Well, we've done some, say, quite radical custom stocks in the past, certainly with SL3s, and they still fit in this box. So it's not like, oh, my stock's 15.5 inches, will it fit in the box? It is still fit in the box. We have had that conversation before. In this little envelope you get all the sort of documentation for your particular gun. So I'll just run you through this. So a little certificate, basically like a thank you, saying look, appreciate your custom, handwritten signatures, serial numbers, stuff like that, the date of manufacture. Nice little touch. So in the next compartment is where your chokes are kept. So in here, which is held down with a little leather protector, take it out, and this little bit of tissue paper is a leather pouch, like a little wash pouch, but this has got all your chokes in it, which is a nice little touch, embossed with the PB Beretta symbol. Proper leather, really nice finish on it. Essentially it comes with all your chokes, oil, choke key. Instead of having like a little plastic box, with this you get a leather pouch. Right, that was just a bit of an overview of the SL3 line of guns. I'm sure I've missed a few little bits in there that people might want, different bits of information. So if you do want any more information on this gun, or any more information, like say the VIP trip or anything of that nature, drop us an email, give us a call, comment section below with your question so we can answer it. Like, subscribe, helps us out in terms of doing the YouTube, keeps this going. Yeah, if you have any questions, like I say, drop it below, but we'll see you in the next one.